Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nabila Alifalisy Syafa'ah with student number 8320240075. In this video, I would like to explain about the procedure of English material developments. In this presentation, I will discuss four important stages, namely selecting and grading, designing, adapting, and evaluating. These stages are important to ensure that the material used in the classroom are effective and suitable for students. So let's move to the introduction. Teaching materials play a very important role in English language learning, especially in English foreign language contexts. Materials are not only a source of knowledge, but they also guide both teachers and students in the learning process. However, not all materials are appropriate for every situation. Sometimes the materials do not match students' needs, level, or learning goals. Therefore, it is necessary to develop material through a systematic process. This process includes selecting and grading, designing, adapting, and evaluating materials. Each step helps improve the quality and effectiveness of learning. The first step is selecting and grading materials. Selecting materials means choosing appropriate content based on students' needs, their background knowledge, and learning objectives. Teachers need to consider whether the materials are suitable in terms of difficulty, relevance, and interest. Meanwhile, grading refers to organizing the materials in a logical order, usually from simple to more complex. For example, students should learn basic vocabulary before moving to complex sentences. This step is very important because inappropriate materials can make learning difficult and ineffective. According to the research, the method used was a combination of questionnaires and semi-structured interviews with teachers. The findings showed that many materials were not properly selected and graded. They did not match students' academic needs and were not suitable for their level. In addition, the exercises were not useful and did not help students achieve the learning objectives. As a result, the teaching and learning process was less effective. This study emphasized that careful selection and proper grading are essential to achieve successful learning outcomes. The second step is designing materials. Designing means creating new learning materials or improving existing ones based on curriculum and students' needs. In this process, teacher or material developers need to consider several aspects such as the content, learning activities, teaching strategies, and visual layout. The materials should be interesting, meaningful, and able to engage students in the learning process. Good design will help students understand the material more easily and improve their language skills. In this study, the researchers used a research and development method. They started with a needs analysis by using questionnaires to identify students' abilities, expectations, and learning needs. The results showed that the existing materials were not aligned with the curriculum and did not meet students' needs. Therefore, new materials were designed based on these findings. The final result showed that the new materials were more relevant, more attractive, and more effective in improving students' English proficiency. This proves that designing material based on students' needs is very important. The third step is adapting materials. Adapting means modifying existing materials to make them more suitable for a particular group of students. Teachers can adapt material in several ways, such as adding new content, deleting unnecessary parts, simplifying difficult materials, or rearranging the order of activities. The main goal of adaptation is to create better learning experiences by making materials more relevant, understandable, and effective. The research on adapting materials used a qualitative case study method, including observation, interviews, and document analysis. The findings showed that the teacher frequently adapt materials in their teaching practice. They modified the materials to make them easier and more suitable for students. This adaptation helped students understand the lesson better and made the learning process more meaningful. However, there were still some challenges, such as tasks that were too difficult, too much use of the first language, and lack of students' reflection. Therefore, adaptation is more important, but it must be done carefully and thoughtfully. The final step is evaluating materials. Evaluation is conducted to determine whether the materials are effective and appropriate for teaching and learning. In this study, the researchers used questionnaires and interviews with 68 teachers. The results show that the textbook had several weaknesses, such as low cultural content, limited supporting activities, and lack of clear guidance for teachers. The findings indicate that the materials were not fully effective and need improvement. Evaluation is important because it helps identify strength and weakness so the materials can be improved in the future. In conclusion, developing English materials requires a systematic process. There are four main steps: selecting and grading, designing, adapting, and evaluating. Each step has an important role in ensuring that the materials are suitable, effective, and relevant for students. By following these steps, teachers can create better learning materials and improve students' learning outcomes. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.